When I first got the email, I thought it was spam. Congratulations! You've been selected for the senior director position. I must have read it 5 times before it sank in. Senior director. At 35. The kind of promotion people built their whole lives around. I felt the adrenaline hit instantly. My chest tight, my hands trembling as I called out to my girlfriend from the living room. Emily, you're not going to believe this! She came running, still in her scrubs from a long nursing shift, hair tied back in a messy bun. What's going on? I turned my laptop toward her. They picked me. Senior director. It's mine. Her face lit up. She jumped into my arms, laughing, kissing my cheek. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. In that moment, everything felt perfect. The late nights, the weekends buried in spreadsheets, the endless business trips. It all seemed worth it. But even as she held me, a tiny voice in the back of my head whispered, "At what cost?" Because deep down, I already knew. This wasn't just a promotion. This was a new life. A life that would demand more of me than I'd ever given before. And as I looked at Emily, tired, still smiling, her whole world wrapped up in me. I couldn't shake the thought that this win might not feel like a win forever. The first week after the promotion felt like a dream. New office, bigger paycheck, my own assistant. It was everything I'd worked for. Emily even surprised me with a little celebration. She cooked dinner, opened a bottle of wine we'd been saving, and toasted. To us. To your hard work finally paying off. But even then, I noticed it. My phone kept buzzing on the table. Emails piling up. Slack messages from the team who just needed 5 minutes. I silenced it, smiled at her, and said, "Tonight's just for us." Still, a part of me was itching to check. The weeks blurred together. Late nights at the office, early mornings with calls to Europe. Emily was waiting up with reheated dinners that had gone cold hours ago. "Don't worry," I'd tell her, kissing her on the forehead as she dozed off on the couch. "It's just the transition. Things will settle down." But they didn't. One night, I came home past midnight. She was asleep, the TV still on. There was a note on the counter. "We need more than goodnight kisses and leftovers. Please, just give me one evening." I folded the note, put it in my pocket, and promised myself I'd fix it. Tomorrow. But tomorrow always came with another meeting, another deadline, another excuse. It was a Thursday night when the dam finally broke. I came home late, again. My tie loosened, my briefcase hanging from one hand, and that guilty, rehearsed smile already on my face. The apartment smelled like takeout, but the table was empty. Emily was on the couch, arms crossed, her eyes fixed on the blank TV screen. "Hey," I said softly. "Rough day?" She turned to me, and the look on her face wasn't tired, it was hurt. "Do you even remember the last time we had dinner together? Not reheated food, not leftovers, just dinner. You and me." I swallowed hard. I told you, it's just the transition." "No," she cut me off, her voice sharper than I'd ever heard it. "You've been saying that for months, and you're disappearing. Piece by piece, day by day, you're just gone." Her words hit harder than any late-night meeting ever could. I dropped my briefcase, walked over, and reached for her hand. But she pulled away. "You worked so hard to get this promotion," she whispered. "But I don't even recognize the man who got it." I didn't know what to say. For the first time, I felt that whisper from the night I opened the email echo louder than ever. At what cost? I thought I had the perfect solution. The company was hosting a big networking gala downtown. Black tie, champagne, the works. I told Emily, "Come with me. It'll be fun, a night out, just the two of us." She hesitated, but finally agreed. Maybe she wanted to believe me as much as I wanted to believe myself. The night started well enough. She looked incredible in a simple black dress, and for a few minutes, I actually felt like the old us again. But then the handshakes began, the introductions, the endless stream of colleagues and executives pulling me away, telling me how proud they were, how we should talk strategy sometime. Emily stood beside me at first, smiling politely. But as the hours went by, I saw her smile fade, her glass of champagne barely touched. At one point, I caught her standing alone by the balcony, staring out at the city lights. I walked over, trying to sound casual. "You okay?" She forced a smile. You belong here. She forced a smile. You belong here. Something in her voice twisted in my chest. Em? I started, but before I could finish, another executive clapped me on the shoulder. There you are! We need you for a quick photo. I looked between them, Emily, tired and waiting, and the man who held the keys to my future. And once again, I chose the job. By the time the photo op was over, she was gone. A single text on my phone. I'm heading home. Don't worry about me. But of course I did. The next morning, Emily didn't slam doors or shout. She just sat at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee, calm in that way that scared me more than anger ever could. Sit down, she said. I obeyed. She looked me straight in the eye. I love you. But I can't keep doing this. I can't be the leftover part of your life. The thing you fit in after emails and meetings and photos with your boss. I opened my mouth to protest, but she raised a hand. No excuses. I get it, your job is important, but so am I. And if you can't find space for me in your life, then maybe I don't belong in it. Her words were quiet, steady, but they hit like a sledgehammer. I wanted to promise her the world right there. To say I'd cut back, that I'd walk out of the office at 5 sharp every night. But the truth stuck in my throat. Because deep down I knew this promotion wasn't just a job. It was a beast, one that demanded feeding day and night. And for the first time, I realized I might not be able to give her what she needed. I reached across the table, desperate. Please, don't give up on me yet. I'll figure this out. Emily's eyes softened, but she shook her head slowly. You don't have forever to figure it out. I need more than promises. She stood, kissed my forehead gently, and left for her shift. I sat there in silence, staring at the cold coffee in front of me, wondering if I'd just been handed my final warning. That weekend, I made a plan. No phones, no laptops, no quick check-ins. Just me and Emily. I booked a table at her favorite little Italian place downtown, the one with the candles and wine bottles and the violinist who played too close to the tables. Cheesy, but she loved it. I even left work early, something I hadn't done in months. By the time she got home, I was already dressed, jacket on, holding out the reservation slip like it was a love letter. Her eyes lit up. Are you serious? Completely, I said. Tonight's about us. No interruptions. For the first time in weeks, I saw her really smile, and for a while, it felt perfect again. We ordered wine, shared pasta, laughed about old stories. I thought maybe, just maybe, I was pulling us back from the edge. Then my phone buzzed. I ignored it. Buzzed again. Ignored it. Third time I glanced down. My boss. Urgent. Need you now. Emily's smile faded as she saw my expression. Don't, she said softly. I slipped the phone back into my pocket, forced a grin. It can wait. But it didn't. Because 10 minutes later, another call came. Then another. My chest tightened, the weight of responsibility pressing down. Finally, I excused myself just for a second and stepped outside to answer. By the time I came back, Emily was gone. A folded napkin sat by my half-finished glass of wine. I wanted tonight to be about us. The apartment was too quiet when I got back. No TV humming in the background, no shoes by the door, no Emily curled up on the couch waiting for me. Her closet was still full, her toothbrush still in the bathroom. But the silence told me more than empty shelves ever could. I sat on the edge of the bed, phone in my hand, staring at her name in my contacts. I typed a message, deleted it, typed again, deleted again. Finally, I called, straight to voicemail. Em, it's me. I'm sorry. I screwed up again. Please come home. We'll figure this out, I promise. My voice cracked at the end, and I hated myself for sounding so weak. But the truth was, I'd never felt weaker. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. The promotion that had once felt like the biggest win of my life now tasted like ash. I had the title, the salary, the office with a view. But without Emily, what did it even mean? The next morning, I dragged myself to work, plastered on a smile, and pretended everything was fine. But every congratulation, every, "You're killing it, man," just echoed hollow in my chest. Because all I could think about was the note she'd left behind, and the empty chair across from me at dinner. And for the first time since the promotion, I wondered if I'd already lost the one thing I couldn't replace. 2 days passed before Emily finally picked up my call. Thank God, I blurted out. Can we talk? Please? There was a pause on the line. When she spoke, her voice was calm but distant. We can talk, but not at your place. Meet me at the cafe on 3rd, tomorrow at noon. It felt more like a business appointment than a reunion, but I agreed instantly. When I saw her the next day, she looked lighter. Tired, yes, but freer somehow. She smiled politely, not warmly, and it cut me more than any argument ever had. I needed space, she said, stirring her coffee. I couldn't breathe in that apartment anymore. Not with you gone all the time, and when you were there, your head was still at work. I leaned forward, desperate. I'll change. I'll cut back. She shook her head. Don't make promises you can't keep. That's what got us here. I froze, because she was right. For the next hour, I laid my heart bare, told her I missed her laugh, her presence, even the way she left half-empty mugs of tea around the apartment. She listened, but her eyes told me she wasn't convinced. Finally, she sighed. I'm not saying it's over, but I can't be the only one fighting for us. If this job is your whole world, maybe there's no room for me in it anymore. Her words hung in the air like a verdict. I reached across the table, took her hand and whispered, You are my world. I just forgot how to show it. For the first time, her expression softened. But before I could feel any relief, she pulled her hand away and said quietly, The very next week, I tried to prove myself. I left the office early, actually early, for the first time in months. I stopped by a flower shop, bought her favorite lilies, and picked up takeout from that Thai place she loved. I was rehearsing my apology speech in my head as I walked up the stairs to her apartment. But when she opened the door, she didn't smile. Flowers and food, she said softly. You really think that fixes everything? I froze, holding the bouquet like a shield. No, but it's a start. She let me in, and for a few hours, it almost felt normal again. We ate, we laughed, we even curled up on the couch like old times. Then, right as I thought maybe we'd turned a corner, my phone rang. I silenced it. Rang again. I flipped it face down. Then came the buzz of a new email, and I couldn't resist. One glance. Just one. Emily noticed instantly. You can't even get through one night, she whispered, pulling away. It's urgent, I stammered. She stood, arms crossed, staring down at me. It's always urgent, and until you figure out what actually matters to you, I can't do this. The lilies sat in the vase between us, bright and beautiful, but already wilting in the tension. That night, as I walked home alone, I realized the truth I'd been avoiding. I wasn't just fighting for Emily. I was fighting myself. Because deep down, It happened on a Saturday. Emily had invited me weeks ago. Her hospital was hosting a charity gala to raise money for the children's wing, and she was giving a short speech. It meant the world to her. I promised I'd be there, wrote it in my calendar, set a reminder on my phone. But that morning, an urgent meeting popped up. Just 1 hour, my boss said. We can't move it. Investors are flying out tomorrow. 1 hour turned into 3, 3 into 5. By the time I left the office, the gala was over. When I pulled up to the venue, workers were folding chairs, taking down decorations. The only trace of Emily was a program left on the sidewalk, her name circled where she'd been listed as a speaker. I called her. No answer. Texted. Nothing. Finally, hours later, she sent a single message. You didn't just miss my speech. You missed me standing there, scanning the room, waiting for you to walk in. And you never did. I sank onto the curb outside my building. The program crumpled in my hands. For the first time, it hit me. No promotion, no paycheck, no title could ever give me back that moment. And for the first time, I wasn't sure Emily ever would. I showed up at her apartment the next evening, uninvited, my stomach in knots. When she opened the door, I could see the wall in her eyes. Emily, please, just hear me out, I begged. She hesitated, then stepped aside. I walked in, but the air felt different, colder, like I was a guest in a place that used to feel like home. I screwed up, I said immediately. No excuses. I should have been there for you. And not just for your speech, for everything. I've been selfish, blind. She didn't rush to fill the silence. She let me sit in it, shifting uncomfortably, until I finally added, I don't want this job to cost me you. Her arms were crossed, her face unreadable. Then why does it keep happening? Every time you choose them over me. Every time you make me feel like second place. I stepped closer. Because I was scared. Scared if I didn't give everything to this job, I'd lose it. And if I lost it, I'd lose the future I thought we wanted. Her eyes softened slightly, but her voice stayed steady. A future without us isn't a future at all. Those words cut straight through me. For the first time, I didn't have a response, only the raw ache of realizing she might be right. I reached for her hand, and this time, she didn't pull away, but she also didn't hold on tight. I need time, she whispered, and I don't know if time will be enough. The following week, my boss called a last-minute strategy session on Friday night, the kind that usually stretched until midnight, with catered sandwiches and endless PowerPoints. But Emily had the night off. For the first time in weeks, she was free. She'd even texted me earlier, maybe we can cook together tonight. I stared at the meeting invite on my screen, pulse racing. Normally, I wouldn't think twice. Work first, everything else later. That was the rule. But this time, I walked into my boss's office. Sir, I said, voice shaking, I can't make the meeting tonight. I have plans. He looked up, eyebrows raised. Plans? Yes, I said firmly, with my girlfriend. The silence stretched so long I thought I'd just signed my own resignation letter. Finally, he leaned back and sighed. You've been burning yourself out for months. Fine, go. But don't make a habit of it. I nodded, barely breathing, and left before he could change his mind. That night, Emily and I cooked together in our tiny kitchen. She chopped vegetables while I stirred the sauce, both of us bumping into each other in the cramped space, laughing like we hadn't in months. It wasn't perfect. There were still walls between us. But for the first time, I chose her, openly, deliberately. And she noticed. When we sat down to eat, she reached across the table, squeezed my hand, and said softly, This is what I've been waiting for. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I might have to risk the job I'd sacrificed everything for. If I wanted. Monday morning, the air in the office felt different. I walked into the weekly executive meeting, and the chatter died down as I took my seat. My boss cleared his throat, eyes landing on me like a weight. Glad you could join us today, he said pointedly. A few people chuckled under their breath. I forced a smile, but inside, my stomach churned. Throughout the meeting, every slide, every number, every question seemed to circle back to the fact that I hadn't been there Friday night. We adjusted the projections without your input. We locked in the client strategy. Hope you're fine with it. It was clear. They'd made sure I knew I'd missed my shot at control. Afterward, my boss pulled me aside. You're talented, no doubt, but leadership means sacrifice. If you're not willing to bleed for this, maybe you're not cut out for the top. His words stung more than I wanted to admit. That evening, I came home to Emily, who greeted me with a warm smile and dinner on the stove. She asked how my day went, and for a split second, I thought about lying, pretending everything was fine. Instead, I told her the truth. I might have just tanked my shot at VP one day. She set down her fork and reached for my hand. Maybe, but tonight, you're here. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm not alone. Her words soothed the ache, but the fear lingered. How many more blows could my career take before everything I'd built came? The breaking point came faster than I expected. On Wednesday, I was called into my boss's office. He closed the door, folded his hands, and hit me with it. We need someone to lead the expansion project in Singapore. 6 months on the ground, high stakes, high reward. You'd be first in line for VP afterward. 6 months, across the world, away from Emily. I didn't answer right away, so he leaned in. Think carefully. Opportunities like this don't come twice. That night, I sat on the couch with Emily. She was curled up beside me, telling me about her day, but I barely heard a word. My mind was spinning with the offer, the promise of everything I thought I'd ever wanted. Finally, I blurted it out. They want me to go to Singapore. She froze. For how long? 6 months, I admitted. The silence between us was deafening. She set her glass down and looked me straight in the eye. So that's it? After everything we've been through, after all the promises, you're just going to disappear again? My chest tightened. Emily, this could set us up for life. She cut me off. You keep saying life, but every time you choose work over us, it feels like you're building a future where I don't even exist. Her words shattered me, because for the first time, I realized she wasn't giving me an ultimatum. She was giving me the truth. I couldn't have both. I would either chase the career that defined me or hold on to the woman who grounded me. And the choice, I didn't sleep that night. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, the offer echoing in my head like a siren. 6 months in Singapore. 6 months away from Emily. 6 months that might as well be forever. By sunrise, I knew. At work, I walked into my boss's office. His eyes lit up as if he already had my answer. So, when can you pack your bags? I took a deep breath. I'm not going. The smile dropped from his face. You realize what you're throwing away? Yes, I said firmly. But I also realize what I've already thrown away. I won't lose her too. He shook his head, disappointed. Then don't expect another chance like this. I walked out of that office lighter than I'd felt in years, and terrified, because I had no idea what my career looked like now. That evening, I went home to Emily. She looked at me, searching my face for the answer before I even spoke. I turned it down, I said quietly. Her eyes filled with tears. She didn't jump into my arms or shout for joy. She just whispered, "Thank you." We stood there in silence, holding each other, both of us knowing this wasn't a fairy tale ending. The road ahead would still be hard. I might never climb as high as I once dreamed. But for the first time, I felt like I'd chosen a life, not just a title. And as I held her, I realized something I should have known all along. Success means nothing if you have no one to share it with.